I've watching so many of the Russian club teams, and I guess the stereotype of Russian teams and coaches is that there's just a lot of yelling. I don't know if that's still true in terms of the stereotype, but that's just what I've heard from just that's culturally how they get motivated, and that's what works for a lot of the Russian athletes in terms of just grinding and a lot of negative reinforcement, no motivation. I don't see Alegno do a lot of that. I mean, he gets intense, but it doesn't seem like a berating type of intensity. He seems to be also pretty personable.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good at recognizing the athletes that need that and the athletes that don't. I know personally, if you're going to berate me for errors that in the moment I don't think are because of lack of focus, I think I carry a pretty good level of focus and attention, and my intention on the court is to always make points and to not make errors. It's always to be aggressive but educated. So if you're going to berate me and think that I'm not focused, I shut down. I know that. Mentally, I get angry at you versus the objective that we're doing because I feel like you're attacking my person. But there are athletes that need that. And he's pretty good at understanding that. And so I think at the top level, coaches don't really coach, especially in matches. They're managers of personalities. And I think the team in 2008, Team USA, wasn't the most nice. I think it was very confrontational, especially seeing that gym, fresh out of college where everything was hunky-dory, everyone loved each other. This is fun. Let's keep doing this. It's like, kind of juvenile joy to walk into that gym when guys are guys are competing for an Olympic spot. They're only taking 12. Yeah. There's 24 guys in this gym beating themselves to try and get a spot. And then you see Hugh McCutcheon just in the center of it all and just playing the personalities of all the players. I can think of it now because I understand it now, but I was like, wow, this guy is really aggressive with this player, but then comes to this guy and is like completely different person. He's so soft, comforting, and it's like, I can't imagine doing that. How is he not upset? He just yelled at this player for spiking the ball out, and now he's talking to him like he's his best friend. I don't get that. But so to me, man, they're more managers than they are coaches. In the moments of the process, for sure, they have to be technical. They have to have plan of action. But in the moment, in the competition moments, it's pulling the right strings at the right time.
Yeah, very true. And I remember Hugh, that 08 group having a lot of strong personalities from what I've heard, but obviously having a successful way of orchestrating that. And then even the women's run, a lot of strong personalities on that one and making that one work to be really successful. And yeah, I just wish I could be a wallflower in the room, when he was managing those groups, because it doesn't look as easy as most people think it is. People think it was just like some straight journey the whole time. But
it's sports, man. I think that's why it's so relatable to people and so entertaining, because the great athletes make it look easy.
Yeah.
They make it look like it's just the backyard game that you play with your friends growing up. But you quickly learn it's not. when you're in it, you quickly learn that the joy is fleeting, and it's unfortunate to say because it's something you love and it's definitely something I love. And, you just hope that it's all worth it at the end, but the joy that you get from it does go away pretty quickly. And you understand it's not as fun as you would hope it to be, but it's also extremely rewarding when you do everything right and you feel like you're in that zone, that flow state of playing where you can't do anything wrong. It's so rewarding because you did it,
Yeah.
The problem is you got to do it again. You got to keep doing it. Got to keep doing it. Got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But to understand that it's so few and far between when you're in that actual perfect zone, it's motivating for me.
Yeah. So what's been the difference? You've played in 3 countries, 3 very different cultures, Korea, Italy, and Russia. Like what's the difference that you've observed between the playing and the coaching styles of those 3 countries?
Yeah, so when I played in Korea, I don't think I was a great professional at the time. I was new to the professional world, but it was a great entry into it because there was a lot of reps. I mean, we trained sometimes even after matches. We would get back to our campus and just train for 3 hours. But
Nice.
yeah, not really, but yeah. But it showed me hard work. What I thought was hard work before that was nothing.
Yeah.
And then, so it was fun to just kind of almost turn your brain off. I know we've talked about being mentally present, but sometimes you just got to turn it off and work, and you got to put in the time. And that kind of rocketed me ahead of a lot of people in my class. So that was that first couple of years, and then Italy was so technical. It was so designed around the game plan, and I really started to see what video and scouting, all that could do to elevate my game. To watch 20 minutes of some team spiking, if you're present for it, you get a lot of information.
Yeah.
And I think now that all this technology is out there, it's even more so you can see little subtleties that you try to pick up in the game and give you a little bit of an advantage over them. But then when I came here, everything changed. Because when I got here, Alekno and the club didn't bring me here to be the technical player. They didn't bring me here to be a happy-go-lucky player on the court. They brought me here to win and to help them win. So it changes your mindset, and you have to approach things in a different way. Like there's matches where I feel like I can't jump just because my knees are so banged up. I can't spike because I have no power because we just played for 2 months every 3 days. It's just brutal. But you figure out a way to win. And to have that gut-wrenching exhaustion on the court and still find some energy deep down and to win. Because I think at the end of World Cups, at the end of World Championships, you can prepare a lot physically, but I think I've said this a bunch of times so far in this interview, it's mental strength.
Yeah.
It's pulling it from somewhere and just doing it. Just literally just doing it. Whatever, plug there for Nike, but literally just do it. You just got to figure it out. And you don't know you have it until you're in the moment and you find it.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember watching you play in your 2012 Olympic debut, and I didn't get to watch any of the Korean matches just because it just I couldn't access them. But from my junior year at Penn State, how you became a lot more fluid and smooth and very accurate with just your accuracy in terms of spiking and precision with ball control. And then when you went to Russia, I saw a huge increase in your physicality of play, like just blowing people up swinging super high, and the serving was definitely. You always had, like you said, a good, fast arm swing and caught people with speed, but very few people in the world, like the Clay Stanleys, the people that are hitting people in biceps and shoulders and stuff, right? I don't know which one do you like better, getting a clean ace or just blowing somebody up on the serve?
I think they're both fun. For sure. I don't think I necessarily have one that's like. I mean, it's pretty impressive when you can serve a ball so fast that us who are in the thick of it all the time can't get out of the way.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. But to do that consistently, it's you're pulling, you're reaching for something. But I think to be technical and, to hit a sideline and then the very next ball, go to the other sideline or drop it short, that's more impressive to me.
Yeah.
Have that control.
I think you did that a little bit it was a 5-setter against Serbia. I think 2 or 3 years, it was a World League finals or semis. One of those key moments. I think it was the one where Dustin came into play because Eric got injured and he had a crazy serving run. It just made him look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an awesome serving performance. It's like when you make someone look like a high school team almost. No disrespect to Serbia. I mean, excellent.
They ended up winning that match actually, but.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker.
Yeah, we dug ourselves a hole in that one, but for sure, it's. I think, well, to touch on another subject, but liberos, it's so apparent when they're not good, but when a libero is really, really good, it's hard to tell. They can make plays, but it's not the big play. They're not getting the kill, they're not getting the stuff blocked, but they can make your team so much better. And I think Eric is an incredible player. I think Dustin's an incredible player. But some of the best liberos in the world, they're just not superstars because they don't make the points.
Yeah.
So it's tough for them.
Yeah.
I digress. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Any tangent in volleyball is always a good tangent. Speaking of people you played with, you played with a couple setters on Kazan, like Vermilio, right? Vermilio, Maruf, Budko. I don't know, some other. Have they brought in some other people? But
I played with one of the best setters in all of volleyball, Nikola Gerbic. I actually won 2014 was the first time that I won a Russian championship. First time I won a championship professionally, and it was with Nick. And gosh, what a good player! But I was actually talking to him last night. I went out to dinner with Irvin Ingapet, and we were talking because he played with him in Cuneo in Italy for the start of his career. And we we're just talking like he just sees the game differently. I think setters for sure see the game completely different than any other position because they have to be so cerebral all the time because they're running the show out there. But he was just so calm, but you knew in the moment he was there and he was competing. And there was never a moment where he got aggressive with you unless you deserved it. So I don't know how he had that intuition on the court in trainings, but he did. And it had to be. I mean, he was in his 40s when he was playing here, so he was playing for a long time.
Yeah.
But he just another person that motivated you because you didn't want to let him down in a way.
Yeah.
And I still look up to Nick. I talk to him every now and then. He's the coach of Serbia, so don't like to give too much information, but he's still a good guy, still a friend in the community, and he's a great player.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of those guys that I feel like everyone respects, and he's not gonna crush the ball because obviously he's a setter, but I feel like people almost fear him just a little bit.
Yeah, he's dangerous because he knows the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. That was so awesome when Kazan asked him to come play, and you've also played with Maruf, who's such an accurate, high tempo setter, and Vermilio. Like, what was your experience playing with those guys?
Definitely different. They play a different style than me. I think I play a little bit slower of a ball when I'm playing in position 4. A little bit slower of a ball, but they're flashy in a way, but like you said, they're really accurate. So they mastered the art of deception on the court. I think Luciano Pacheco is another one that has too. So it creates a lot of ambiguity and room for distrust on the court, meaning not in the actual individual, but in who he's going to set. I mean, you just get fooled out your own self because it's so fast that you got to be able to cover the other hitters. But at the same time, you don't know if you're getting set. So for me, it was a little more difficult to play with them. But that's not to take away from them. Just that's their style of play, and it just didn't really fit for me. But I still think they're great players.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of success with Buko too. You guys won a couple championships with him, and he was actually a surprising pick. Not that I ever thought he was a poor player by any means, but I felt like Kazan had a history of trying to find that top talent and just give them a good contract, and people know they're stepping into a really, really good culture that I think the organization is trying to make sure the players feel good and play well, feel like a lot of support structures. So to recruit internally, I thought that was a surprising pick, but it works out really well. I feel like his connection with the middles that aren't the fastest middles, but he makes them very effective.
Yeah.
And he's really physical. I feel like he's almost like a hitter converted to a setter in terms of the way he plays.
Yeah, it's tough because here in Russia they're only allowed 2 non-Russians.
That's right.
So you have to have. I mean, if you're going to try and compete in the world, you have to have top-level Russian talent, which there's a lot to pull from here for sure. But I think what separates Sasha from a lot of the other setters in Russia is his in-match toughness. I think setters here get a bad rap because, hey, you have so many great hitters. How come you can't get kills, or how come they can't get kills? It's got to be the set. So they take a lot of heat for that. But to be in a moment, a big time match, and trust what you're doing, who you're setting, your system of play, the offense you're running, is the right one. And over time, it's going to win more than it's not. I mean, that's hard. That's really hard.
So on a little bit lighter note, since we're on the topic of Russia, and by the way, if you guys watch the Zenit Kazan channel, some cool vlogs about a day in the life of Matt Anderson and some other fun stuff.
Don't mind my crappy Russian English there. Sorry.
How's your Russian right now?
It's not very good, no. Which is kind of disappointing, unfortunate, and sad that I've been here for so long and I don't speak the language. But I do a little bit for restaurants and some basic conversation. But if I had to navigate using only Russian, it'd be really difficult.
Well, I'm sure all the people you interact with probably speak English, so you probably not forced to use it as often, right?
Right. So, like I said, at a restaurant, I can order the food I need, or the drinks and stuff that I need. But as it goes for having a pleasant everyday conversation with a Russian, I don't. And that's my fault, because I don't know the language. But guys on my team, a lot of them speak English. And if we arrive to a point where we can't understand, there's somebody else that can translate, or we just figure it out. You just figure it out. But yeah, definitely.
So what's your favorite food in Russia?
Oh man, I have an athlete's diet for the most part. So grilled chicken, grilled veggies, rice, pastas, basic fruit, that kind of stuff. But if I'm going to venture out and have some Russian food, I don't know if it's necessarily Russian, but it's local to this area, which is Tatarstan. They have something called manti, which is basically a dumpling, it's a lamb dumpling, and it's pretty tasty.
Okay. And what food do you miss in the United States? Like, what do you crave when you just want to longing for home?
Yeah, sandwiches, deli sandwiches, man. All of that stuff. Grilled, anything on the grill. I'm a big barbecue fan, but I think the number one thing I miss is definitely just a good old deli sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't have many delis in Russia?
They do, but just the quality of the meats and stuff like that, it's not the highest. And
Yeah.
there's something about walking into a deli in America and getting, whatever sandwich you want on
Yeah.
fresh baked bread and all that stuff. It's just so good.
Wrapped in butcher paper.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
With like
It's
a little bit
not a good sandwich. Yeah, for sure. Not a good sandwich unless it's wrapped in the white paper, with masking tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you miss the most about being like? I know you're really close to your family. So what else do you miss the most about being away from home other than your family and your friends?
Oh, well, I mean, that's what I miss. But it's being home. I mean, it doesn't matter where in the States you are, for me at least, because I've been on the road for so long. But
Mhm.
just knowing that I'm in my country, in my home, it's provides a sense of ease.
Yeah.
And my niece got me this actual mug for Christmas this year. It says "Someone in Buffalo loves you." So
That's good.
stuff like this, keeps me happy, keeps me smiling, keeps me moving forward.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Speaking of your family, can you share a little bit about some of the tattoos you have? Because I know a lot of fans maybe don't keep up on all the other articles and interviews that they have on you, but they see you play and they notice the tattoos. So you can share a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, for sure. So I have a bunch of tattoos now, and a lot of them are under my shirt. But obviously, my sleeve, my left arm, is pretty noticeable. The big tree, the roses, world map, everything like that. It's all designed for my family, and well, it's designed for me, but it's in honor of my family. Um, so the roses are for I have four of them, one for each of my siblings, and then the tree, it's for my entire crazy, twisted, vast expanse of a family. I also have a compass and a world map, so I can always use them to find my way back home.
Mm.
So that's my left arm. My right wrist, I have the puzzle piece for autism awareness, and my nephew's named Tristan, who's on the spectrum. And that's just for awareness. It's a pretty prominent spot on my body that when I'm playing, it's there and people see it. And it's just to spread awareness for it all. I mean, it's a pretty important cause for me and my family, and it affects a lot of people in the world.
Yeah,
I also,
sure.
yeah. I also have my very first tattoo is my family coat of arms from when my dad passed away.
Mm.
Me and my brother have matching ones for my dad. I have the London Tower Bridge from the Olympics, my first Olympics. That's on my back. I also have I have a quote on my stomach that just kind of it's a mantra to basically keep reminding me to love people. Find the best in everything, and we're here to love. We're here to make the world better. So keep doing that. It's tough, you forget about it sometimes, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. You get caught up in life. I have a couple others. I have a dream catcher with an elephant kind of mixed together, and that's for me to find my dream, which is at this point in time to win a gold medal, hopefully start a family in the near future, and find another way to keep spreading the love. So it's to find my dreams and to never forget them.
Yeah.
I have a couple fun ones. I have Odin's Raven on my back. My family is from that area way back when. The Anderson family name comes from that area, the ancient Norsemen's, and I think my imagination ran with it. I like to think that my family was all old Vikings and all cool stuff. But then the latest tattoo I got is of a laughing Buddha, and I got it on my stomach so that when I get nice and fat, he'll always be more fat than me. But I just really like it, and it's lighthearted, it's fun, makes me smile, and I think our bodies can be a canvas to express ourselves. So I don't think I'll be putting any face tattoos or neck tattoos or anything like that, but it's my way of showing it.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
My first time seeing tattoos on volleyball players was Riley Salmon and Volleyball.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I was
a little devil or something on the shoulder, right? Yeah.
Volleyball, anger is a gift. I was a young teenager. I was like, oh man, those guys are so badass.
Yeah, I'm definitely not in it to make myself more badass, but I don't picture myself as a threat to most people in the world. So it's just for me for the artistic part of it. But yeah, those guys definitely brought a different attitude towards the game and towards the court presence.
Yeah, and I think your tattoos are great conversation starters and opportunities for people to just think more deeply about themselves and engage in you on a different level.
It's definitely opened my eyes to a lot of misconceptions on people with tattoos. I like to think I'm a very nice person. I like to think that I'm a pretty open person and kind-hearted. And you see some people that are just perceived as extremely scary, fearful people that just you don't want to be around because they're covered in tattoos. It just makes you uncomfortable. It does, for sure. But you talk to them for 5 minutes, you realize they're some of the nicest people in the world, you know? And it's not to say maybe it's not the smartest thing to do to get a big tattoo across your face, but we make mistakes, but also who cares? It's their body, their decision to do that, and they have to live with some of the stereotypes that go along with it. But communication is everything, and we're all people. We're all the same, in my mind.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, back to the volleyball topic. I just realized I forgot to ask you a few questions. And what's the difference between outside hitter and opposite hitter for you? Like, and how you approach the game, some of the technical aspects, strategies.
I don't approach the game much differently, being that when I am playing as an opposite, I'm still passing. So I still have to prepare the same way as an outside does. I just have to train it. So I have to train. It's a different sequence of movements on the court that it's really frustrating for the first couple of weeks to maybe months to get that pattern back into my brain and into my subconscious or unconscious movements. I think I'm a little bit harsher on myself as a left side, as an outside, because I've done it so much longer that it can be more freeing to play as an opposite. I think that's why I said quickly, that was my knee-jerk reaction to say that I like playing opposite better.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anything wrong in me saying that I like to play for Team USA more. That's always been my goal, is to win a gold medal for Team USA, and that's what I do here professionally sets me up in my life, but my goals as an athlete have always been to win a gold medal. So I find more joy, and the passion definitely comes out a little bit more with Team USA and with those guys. So if they want me to play as an outside, they want me to play as a middle, I'll do my best, and I'm probably not going to be the best out there, but I'll do what I can and with what's within my powers to help them and help me win.
Yeah, and that attitude definitely shines through. Just your willingness to switch positions mid-game, it seems, just for the team.
Yeah.
And then having to run bigs as an opposite and then having to hide another rotation. It's just like a broken rhythm. And then I think you play, well, if you do play outside, you play as the H1, right?
Typically, yeah.
So you're mainly passing in, areas, only one rotation on the right side. Everything else is either from area 4 or 5, 6.
Yeah.
Those very short areas. So it's just a different angle, different things. And
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
And I think one thing that makes you a great opposite, you're not the prototypical opposite of just, most opposites just meathead, bang, block, serve. Don't tip at me because I'm going to do a slow pancake to act like I'm playing defense. You contribute, like of course, on paper, you're getting your 20, 25 kills, which is international standard for some of the top opposites in the world. But your help block on the 3, and even on some of the push 1s, your defense, I think it's those in-between things that really sets you apart from so many of the opposites in the world. And I think because you play so much outside hitter, you see the game at different angles, but your appreciation for ball control.
Well, thank you. But I think some of my teammates might have some different thoughts on that. Definitely, it's just a change. It's a change. And playing defense in area 6 to playing defense in area 1.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's massive. The ball gets on you a little bit faster in area 1. And you're required to do different things. Blocking is, I think, my Achilles heel. It always has been. I might be big and I can jump, but I've never really mastered the art of blocking. So that's a constant area of focus for me in trainings, especially right out of the gate when I switch back to opposite or switch back to the left. It's a different motor pattern that I have to learn again, different steps. But yes, I think I do definitely bring a different level of play, different mindset into that position. And it helps that my natural arm swing brings everything across court. I have a lot more room to play that way, but I also have a pretty good line shot. So I think our offense for Team USA, part of the reason of why I'm there is to keep a more balanced out offense and to have somebody that can hit a high ball on the right from area 1, but also somebody that can play with the block and hopefully pull up some digs and all that good stuff that goes into it.
Yeah, because I know other countries have tried, like Zaitsev, when they had, like on paper, let's see, who are the 3? Vittori, Zaitsev, and
Sabi was another opposite that they had.
Yeah.
I think that the top 2 right now are Vittori and Zaitsev, though, for the opposite for everybody.
And I think on paper, like as a coach, you have 3 great hitters, and on paper, you want to put all 3 of them on the court. And I remember in 2016, the Olympics, it just wasn't working. Like on paper, it should work out well, right? Because Zaitsev, he can do both. But it definitely changes the mindset when you are entering into that space of like, okay, my main job is to just bail out my team and just score points versus now I have to pass, transition, and do all those things. And it's odd that when they did switch Zaitsev back to opposite and they had Lanza and then whoever their second outside hitter was.
Yeah.
Oh, that helps a little bit.
Good player.
I think I think that before Alonso went crazy and ended up really accelerating his play. Yeah, I think it was Zaitsev, Juantorena, and then Vittori, 3 big arms, right? And then they decided, okay, well, it's not working. Great insight by the coach, too, by not to force a situation that should work out well, right?
Right.
Put Zaitsev back on the opposite, take a chance on Lonzo, more ball control, smaller outside hitter, and ends up working out really well. So that was.
They had a good team.
Yeah, and it was not many teams can have someone that can play both. And speaking of great players, you've also played with Leon and Ingapet.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your experience playing with both of them, and how have you had to keep the game the same or change your game to play with Ngapet compared to Leon?
Yeah, so I'll start with Leon because I've played with him longer and I've won a lot with him.
Mm-hmm.
We've won a lot with him, I should say, not me just personally. But gosh, he's good. He's so powerful.
Yeah.
Holy crap. I thought I was a good spiker. I thought I was a good server. And then this kid comes in the gym after being out of the game for what 2.5, 3 years, something like that. Since it's unfortunate, by the way, with everything that happens with the Cuban players, but he made up for a lot of lost time. That's for sure. He is good.
Yeah.
To me, by far the most offensive player in the world, hands down. But he also, sorry, he's not the best passer in the world. So when he was here, I understood what my job was: clear, concise, to the point. I wasn't going to spike 40 balls in a match. And it hurts my ego a little bit, but I was okay with that after some time. And my job here was to pass the ball. Don't get aced. Don't spike out. Serve in the court. I don't need to be the superstar. I'm just here to help my team. And it was very humbling because the year before he was here, I was that guy. You know, me and Max, we were the 2-pin hitters, and that's what we did. But it was a challenge, and I accepted it, and I loved it. You know, I work every day, 10, 15 minutes before the team's there. I'm passing, and I'm doing my best to hone in that skill. And you know, sometimes it doesn't work, but for the most part, I was a pretty good passer for those 4 years, and I still think I am. So our team dynamic was set up for him to be the superstar, and I mean, hats off to him. He did it for 4 years, and unrelentless. You know, relentless, I should say, not unrelentless. I don't think that's a word either, but he was relentless with it, and he just crushed teams. He took over, and a lot of our Champions League finals, it's that moment I say we just got to find it and just do it, and it seemed effortless for him. Like he just always had it. And then Irvin comes here, and I think initially we thought it was going to go back to the other way, where me and Max would be kind of the big time hitters, and he was going to be here for ball control. And but we're finding our system. You know, it's hard when you play one way for so many years to introduce new players and new talent into the system and think it's just going to flawlessly happen. So we had I think initially we had some good success because it's that moment where you're just out there, you're just playing. You know, it's a little bit more freeing because you don't have that expectation yet of playing together. You have the expectation of winning, but not playing together smoothly. So we had a rough patch, I think, in the middle of the season, but we're coming back from it. And that rough patch was just finding our way as a team. And I think Irvin's playing much better now. He's definitely calmer on the court. But what sticks out for me with him is he is just a competitor. Holy crap. You know, I think there's something said about Jordan when he would make up stories in his head about people he was playing to get angry, to give him that edge. And I don't think Irvin does it. I just think he has that. It's tough because like when you're outside the court watching, it can seem like too much, you know, too much bravado, too much ego. But for us, it's energizing. You know, sometimes it can be a little bit of a distraction, you know, and that's okay. I think to stay focused the entire time, it's hard. I mean, there's definitely points in the match where like a social butterfly, I'm looking up in the crowd, but I'm able to notice that pretty quickly and bring it back in. And So I think it's okay to get a little distracted at times, but to understand it and to catch it. He just provides so much energy for us on the court. So it's a different team completely. I think we'd be fools to think we would be the same team with him as we were with Leon.
I think almost a different tempo. I didn't. It was kind of when I remember watching Leon play, and he just has not only an incredibly high contact, but it's almost like a loopy swing because he loads with his elbow down here. But then I don't know how
he swings like Stanley.
Yeah.
A really big windmill.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
And he has like an inside out approach, so he kind of fades toward the ball, and like he doesn't spike the ball at the time that I think he's gonna spike.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like on a triple block, he'll just still hit it on the 15-foot line, sharp angle with tons of heat.
For sure. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. I thought I could do that. I can do it occasionally. If everything kind of aligns perfectly. Yeah, he changes the tempo and the timing of when he hits the ball. Yeah, so I think another player that does that really well is Taylor Sander. So changing the time on your ascension in your jump, on your descension in your jump, at the peak, it makes it really hard to block. It makes it really hard to play around and to try and stop, for the fact that everything with blocking is timing. And you can do everything absolutely perfect and not even touch the ball. It's just a better spike, you know? And I think that's why I dislike the skill the most, because like I touched on it earlier, I like everything to be perfect. I like everything to work. Like I was supposed to block that ball, but I didn't. Why didn't I? Well, he just spiked it better, you know? And things that make me a good attacker are also what make me a medium blocker, you know, because I'm always trying to find that piece as a spiker to beat the block. Yeah. And so as a blocker, you're always playing catch up, and I don't like that. So just a little insight into my mindset on that. But yes, Leon, I don't know how his shoulder and elbow and everything hold up. It's just crazy. It's like a pitcher in baseball, you know. How can this guy day in and day out throw over 100 miles an hour and have such a curve on the ball? I mean, you just have it or you don't, and he's got it. And it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was really happy for you guys when you guys lost to Sada Crucero. I was really happy for you guys when you guys lost to Sada Crucero.